So Marvel, you guys are also going over to the UK just for one day? Girl, what? Let's go ahead and get into it because what is really going on? Huh?
You are now tuned in to a PNerdy Films Productions. Perfect films made by perfect nerds. We thank you for watching. Enjoy. And you are now tuned in to the Prince Onyx Network with your good guy here, Prince Onyx.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your good guy here, Prince Onyx. You already know, Onyx. Yes, let's get into it. So yes, as I was stating, when it comes to Marvel Studios, they also are now moving to the UK, which is purely based in economics. Whenever things with the rise of cost starts to go up, that's when film studios will literally vacate the premises. Now, the gotcha part and the downside to it is that people in Georgia, like the actor Matthew Cornwell, he was feeling sorry. I know I probably messed up your last name. That's why I was like, wait, it's Cornwell. You had said, he said that local actors and crew members are already feeling the brunt of this absence, as well as there was a 62-year-old script supervisor. Her name is slipping me right now, but she was making like about $200,000 a year as a script supervisor with Marvel for the past like 4 years. So she was making bank, and she says that if you end up feeling like a jilted lover. Now again, them leaving, it leaves this vacancy, right? Where it's just like, okay, what do we do? What do those studios and those studio lots and everybody do? Again, I think that it's best that they invest in independent artists. This will be the rise because, look, we know how Tyler Perry gives it up. He ain't hiring no other writers, okay? I mean, he can mentor people to direct. Yes, you can star in his stuff. You can probably as an extra, but then work your way up to speaking roles, a featured role, featured extra, whatever the hell, main cast member, supporting cast, whatever. But there can be more than just him. Just saying. But with Marvel, though, this definitely hurts because now, with the next 2 Avengers films and Spider-Man movies, they are all filming in the UK, and basically everything else is also filming out there. So it's just really unfortunate, but again, it just goes to show this the writing is on the wall. Because yes, it is purely economics, but to the point where you guys are going to a whole nother country, it got to be something deeper than that of just economics. I mean, again, it puts a real dent in the industry down there because people were, again, moving their whole lives down there. People were so used to getting consistent work. You're not going to see the same, and you're not seeing the same number of auditions. You're not seeing the same number of, positions for crew members now. So now people are without. And when people are without, what can they do other than to try to come together, which would be the next best thing? So, it's just, the thing is, it's crazy because Georgia gives a very generous film tax credit, way more than Illinois. Yes, I have to take a dig at my own state because the tax credits here pale in comparison to that of Georgia, and probably even pale in comparison to that of Texas. Okay, shout out to the Houstonians and the Dallas folks. Okay, shout out to y'all. It pales in comparison up here to down there. So again, they were giving y'all tax credits, but again, the rise in costs made everybody just vacate. But this is the perfect time to turn around and invest in independent media. Invest in independent filmmakers because their material is just as good, if not more, than that of Marvel. Yes, it's going to be a lot of B movies, but guess what? At least people are getting work. At least people won't be without. At least people are going to get auditions. So it's best to just invest in your own, because you have people who are down there who moved down there because it was so booming, right? They called ATL the Black Mecca, Black Hollywood. Well, girl, it's starting to look like if regular, degular, schmegular, white Hollywood is dying off, they're dying off. What do you think that means for Black Hollywood? Oh, wait, I forgot y'all. So used to me and my little props, even though the mic ain't attached. But anyway, question, thoughts, question, tell me what you think about it. Seriously, tell me what you think about it, because at the end of the day, it's just like, bruh, if regular degular Hollywood is dying off, what do you think that means for everybody else? Because again, even Hollywood productions out there in California love, okay, out in California are moving over to the UK just for one day. What does that mean for everybody else? But mark my words, y'all, independent media, this is our time to rise up, okay? And I rise up high like a sand, I rise up. Shout out Andre Day, baby. We gonna rise up, all right, because this is that time. This is that time to rise up. This is that time where you realize that your network really is your net worth, and start reaching out and networking across. Instead of networking up, network across. Because what you got to also realize too within this industry, people at the top are going to gatekeep, because they have it ingrained in their minds that, oh, if I let you get ahead of me, or if I put you on, or if I put you in a position, you could somehow replace me. Which I've always said, baby, if your position is that easy to be replaced, I certainly don't want that spot. Just so that we are clear, I don't want that spot. If it's so easy for somebody else to come along and take it from you, and if you think I would take it from you, what's to stop somebody else from then knocking me off the chessboard? Questions, thoughts, and answers. My mic had failed, so, I got to just pretend like I got it. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Anyway, questions, thoughts, answers, because, girl, if they can do that to you, what's to stop them from doing it to me? Okay? I just want to know, what's to stop them from doing it to me? To who you said? To who? To me. It's gonna be mine. What's to stop them from doing it to me? Girl, anti-who? Yes. So again, these productions are moving elsewhere overseas, which really sucks, especially for mainstream. But this is how everybody should know. This is when everybody should know how to pivot, rather. Everybody should know how to pivot. Because whether you stay in the mainstream or you're going the indie route, just know how to pivot. And this is also why, once again, going back to it, for the independent creators, the people who you're so used to just being the actor in front of the camera, this is that time to dust off your other skills, or to learn some new skills and learn about directing, learn about producing, learn about screenwriting, learn how to screenwrite. You can literally get the Screenwriter's Bible. They should still have the, what was it? I think I got I know I got the latest edition, but they should have the edition previously to that. Learn how to write. Just learn these other skills. Basically become a skilled tradesman, essentially. A skilled craftsman, craftswoman. Learn the trade of the industry that we are all in. Don't just, seclude yourself and box yourself into only doing one thing. Learn how to do a multitude of things, because that will help you in the long run. You have actors like Keke Palmer, Vivica A. Fox, who are just now realizing that, oh, there's more power in producing. Because Keke Palmer even said it in her podcast about how she was going on these auditions and this, that, and the third, and it felt like people weren't really necessarily taking her serious. Her, as Keke, the never goes without a job, Keke keeps a job Palmer, alright? They were not taking her serious, but once she started producing, she got more results. Vivica A. Fox has been directing as well as producing. Vanessa Bell Calloway, Tasha Smith, just to name names. Like, people have been doing other things outside of just being in front of the camera. But when that's all you're used to doing, I get it, right? Even as a YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? Even as a YouTuber. But again, you just got to take that leap of faith. If you believed in yourself enough to book those gigs in front of the camera, believe in yourself enough to know that you're worth booking those gigs behind the camera, where there's actually more power. That's how you can tell more stories that you want to tell, versus these reboots and remakes and retellings. Oh, this is this story retold with a black cast. This is this story retold with an Asian cast. This is this story retold with an Indian cast, with a Latino cast. This, that, and the third. Oh, this is with the gay people and the trans people, which we're about to see few far of those. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, damn, like, we can have diversity, but let's also have diverse storytellings. Diversity doesn't mean let's just do remakes and reboots. Hello? Are y'all okay? Like, are y'all good? Is you cool? Inquiring minds want to know, because, girl, what? But yeah, so, I just... I don't know, man. Just let me know. I do know, but then it feels like I don't know. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. But you know what? Furthermore, and another thing, girl, I had to go ahead and grab my laptop just to be sure that I'm quoting things right. Okay, like I said earlier, because I know I had said that gentleman's name incorrect. It was Cornwell, the last name. Okay, just wanted to make sure I said his name correctly. But anyway, so remember that 62-year-old script supervisor that I was telling you guys about? Now, according to her, this is from the New York Post, she hasn't had steady work since February of last year and had to therefore borrow from her retirement fund in order to cover bills. That's how bad it got once she is now without a job, because for a lot of people down in Georgia, it wasn't just another client. Marvel Studios was not just another client. That was a cornerstone. Because you got people, there's another person too in here in this article. He was literally able to buy a house. Let me see, make sure I get this brother's name right, this gentleman's name. Okay, like, girl. So yes, a location scout, Lindsay Seeley. He worked on 4 Marvel projects, right? So, you know, of course, well, no, that is Lindsay Scaly. No, that's she. Never mind. I'm so sorry. John Grab. There we go. So sorry, y'all. Kind of like jumbled up. I'm trying to make sure I get everything together. My apologies. Anyway, he was a sound grip. John Grab, age 44, who worked on 6 Marvel films. He calls his $350,000 home the house that the Avengers bought. And again, he worked on 6 Marvel projects. And so now, you know what I'm saying, it's just like this collapse, it hits everybody. It's like a ripple effect. It's like you throw a little pebble in the pond and it causes like the ripple waves. It's a ripple effect. It's a domino effect that's affecting everything and everybody. Again, just like with the people who worked on Jimmy Kimmel, now they're without a job. Like I said, he himself, he'll be fine. But the people who worked on the show, bruh, not to say that they necessarily won't be fine. I'm sure, they may have maybe 3 to 6 or 9 months or maybe a year or 2 or 3's worth to cover themselves with stuff financially. Maybe, because life do be lifing. But what if they don't? That's the severe reality of it. So when you have somebody like Marvel basically just jump ship and go elsewhere, overseas, it hits everybody else who's left behind in the wake of that. And then speaking of which, going back to the other person who I had misgendered, and that is definitely on my fault, and that's, holding myself accountable. The location scout, Lindsay Seeley, she was talking about how back at the Rife Studios, Thurliff Studios, the Rife, Chad, I'm going to try to put it in here somewhere, okay? That was Marvel's long-time production hub, and it was 1,000 acres near Atlanta with 34 stages and its own housing village. And now they've gone quiet after years of non-stop work and non-stop demand, mind you. So 34 sound stages are sitting empty and vacant right now. Again, they were not just another client. This was a cornerstone. And you have it to where she was saying, Miss Lindsay Seeley, that they were once fighting over stages on a daily basis because there wasn't enough room for Marvel and whatever other shows that we're trying to film. And now it's largely empty. Now it's largely empty. Do y'all not know how scary that is? It's literally like a ghost town. Just like that reporter over in Hollywood in the first video I was telling you guys about with the LA Hollywood Exodus, how he went to a soundstage, a studio lot, and it was just empty. It was vacant. No one's there. No one's there. And then who the hell got the type of money to buy that, and what are they going to do with that? Because again, what productions and what films are you trying to produce? And so, when Seeley thinks about it and recalls it, according to the Post, again, with New York Post, when she remembers back when they did Captain America Brave New World, during the shoot, there were rumors and whispers going around about how that might be Marvel's Georgia swan song, which if you know what a swan song is, you know where this is headed. And so with that being said, her fears then unfortunately came true weeks later when the studio held an auction to sell off props. They held an auction to sell off props that they had accumulated during their tenure there. Come on now, so this is just like, it's crazy. Because then it makes me think about, like, if they ever do that here in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, with these shows. Like, if Dick Wolf ever wraps these Chicago shows up, Jesus Christ. Like, because what else are they going to do? Now, granted, somebody like, going back to the other article with Mr. Cornwell, he was saying that, while they do feel the brunt of Marvel being gone, this may be a chance for DC to come in. Which I'm not going to hold you, right? Should DC come in, that would be great. But then for how long? Because you can't trust Warner Brothers neither. You can't trust them either, because word on the curb is that Netflix is trying to acquire them. Which I'm like, well, wait a minute. Doesn't Warner Brothers have HBO Max? So how is that going to work? Which that's a whole other conversation in and of itself when it comes to monopolies. Because, girl, say no to monopolies, because girl, what? But yeah, it's like, would DC go down there? They might as well, because as of now, going back to it, the generous film tax credit, okay? The generous film tax credit is 30% uncapped, which, you know, I ain't the best at math, but I'm pretty sure that's way better than what everybody else is getting. However, when it comes down to it, when you get right down to it, okay, shout out Phyllis Hyman. When it comes all down to it, when it comes to the UK, just for one day, according to them, but by the global economics, they have changed. Across the U.S., it is 29% fewer big budgeted movies and shows that began filming in last year, which was 2024, compared to that of 2022, according to Production Pro. Now, in the UK, that number jumped to 16%. So you see that jump, as well as in other countries like Canada and Australia that continue to lure projects over there. Now this ends up hurting states like California, New York, New Jersey, you know, and Texas that are pumping up and bumping up their incentives just to compete. So you have these states here in America that are bumping up and pumping up their incentives, their film tax credits, in order to compete with that of Australia, Canada, and that of the UK. But will it be enough to make people stay? I can't say, okay? I can't stand the rain against my window. Definitely can't stand the rain, but baby, I don't know if they can stand to withstand being here, okay? I don't know if the studios can stand to withstand being here, just so that we are clear, okay? So yes, again, there's fewer or less films being shot here. Fewer or less films and TV shows being shot here than that of elsewhere. So if elsewhere is where it's at, that's where they're going to go. And again, if the DC, you know, if people decide to go down there with Superman, Wonder Woman, I was going to say, well, no, Wonder Man is Marvel. But if they do decide to go down there, great. But for how long? Don't bank on them going down there and thinking, oh, everything is going to be okay. Sorry, I had to take them off because I'm pretty sure there's a glare with the lights. Flashing lights, flashing lights. Anyway, shout out Beyonce. Everybody getting shout outs, okay? But, like I was saying, like, how long would DC be down there in Georgia? If they do hypothetically, how long? Because, yeah, they're striking the iron while it's hot right now. I mean, they're definitely doing a little bit better than Marvel when it comes to the movie box office. I'll give you that. But for how long would they be down there, hypothetically, if they do decide to set up shop? And because I just wouldn't want people down there to get their hopes up and be like, oh, I'm employed again. I found the job. Because that job, too, could easily be taken away. Now, this is not for me to be gloom and doom. It's just for people to think ahead. Think a decade ahead. Hypothetically, if they decided to set up shop next year, because, you know, 2025 is on its way out, next year, 2026, you got to think a decade ahead of that. 2036, would they still be down there? Or would they say, you know what, girl, 2033, no, 2033, we finna get the hell. Okay, we finna get, okay, like, we finna get up out of here, okay? Like, you got to think about stuff like that. I just want you guys to think. So, you know, that's all I got. Again, there will be links to the description, in the description box, to all the different articles and things like that to peruse for yourself and come to your own conclusions. Be sure to let me know your thoughts and comments, you know, down below. Love it when y'all talk back and communicate. My royal court. Love y'all deep. It is your good guy here, Prince Onyx, Onyx. Formalities, y'all already know, are out the way. And I love y'all once again. So thank y'all for supporting me. You're a good guy. And trust me, I'm definitely still going to stay on Marvel's head because I love them deep. I love them dearly. But they are not above reproach. Okay? And especially because people, you know, we the people, we've been canceling our subscriptions. Girl, since we're having that conversation, let's talk about y'all. I'm going to save that for another video. But let's talk about y'all and some of y'all shows and productions and things of that nature. Promo and marketing and or lack thereof. Let's go ahead and get into it in another video. But I love y'all. It's your good guy here, Prince Onyx. Again, Onyx. Love y'all deep. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
And thank you for tuning in with me, your good guy here, Prince Onyx. I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This has been brought to you by PNerdy Films Productions. Perfect films made by perfect nerds. Thank you for tuning in with us.